Hello, beautiful friend.
Hello.
Hello.
Here we
And
are at 6:30 in the morning.
6:30 in the morning. Yeah, but we are early birds. That's what's so wonderful with
Uh,
this
with
with
my
this
cup of
awakening
coffee.
process.
Yeah.
With the awakening process, we're very early birds, and we like that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah. On days
yes,
like this, I wake up without the alarm because I get up because I'm excited to do this.
that's wonderful. Me too,
Yeah.
actually. I
Uh,
could hardly sleep yesterday. I really
yeah.
like this. I love it.
You
So
just like
yeah.
talking to me, Louise. You just
But
like
that,
talking
it
to
feels
me.
like we're so connected, and I think this journey, we should be very grateful that we have the possibility to communicate this way, because it really feels that
Unbelievable.
even though we can't touch each other, just by seeing each other and hearing each other, that exchange of energy is so, it's amazing, right?
Yeah. Yeah. This
So
is exceptional. I agree with that, Abby. It's the
that's
most
it.
exciting thing I've done, I think, in ever.
Yeah, but this
See,
is,
that's my life.
and no, but that's and I think also my journey, actually, but like my awakening journey changed since we started this. My awareness is on a different, it's integrated in a different way, a little bit more fun, I would say, and with more curiosity, knowing that,
Lightness, more
yeah,
lightness.
lightness, very good word, lightness, wonderful. Yes, so let's get started. So let's say hello and welcome to both of
Hello.
us, and also hello and welcome to everybody who's listening. Thank you for joining us. This is the podcast of Awakening Process 101. Did I say it right?
Yes.
Yes, I did. You never know. I have a tendency to change the words back and forth.
Yeah.
So
That's the Scandinavian way.
I know.
Flip the words. Yeah.
So Pernilla, the founder and the creator of the free spiritual library, Awakening 101, and also the creator of this podcast. So please, let's do a short introduction for yourself.
So my name is Pernilla Burke, and like Louise said, I'm the founder and creator of a website called Awakening 101, and also this podcast called Awakening Process 101. And here in this podcast, we are trying to bring the idea of awakening into everyday life by having a conversation about the things that we bring up that are related to awakening. Our intention here is to bring the ideas that can seem far-fetched into conversation so they feel more identifiable with you in your life.
Thank you. Wonderful. And I'm Louise, Pernilla's best friend. And
Since we
also,
were 4 years old.
yeah, exactly. And we had this journey together in different vibrations, so to say. And now I'm so lucky that I have the chance and the gift to be able to join Pernilla on this journey, and to join her on this podcast, where she mentioned that the intention really is to describe or to understand the awakening process, right?
Yeah. I mean, from our perspective.
Exactly. Very
Yeah.
important from our
Yeah. Like
perspective.
what does it mean to us, and how did we discover it throughout our lives? And if we were sitting here with a Swami or, Eckhart Tolle, he might be saying different things than us. So
Yeah.
that's the important part here, is that everybody has a perspective on what awakening means in their life at their level. So we are
So
just,
what you're saying is really that the people who are listening should just take what's resonating with them.
yeah, whatever it means to you.
So let's start with that. What
Yeah.
does it mean for you, the awakening process?
Me.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. That's a humongous question. Well, what it means to me is understanding that there was a journey in my life where I went through a transformation from, let's say, childhood, the teens, I was a certain person. I cared about certain things. And my life turned into various things. Like I went from childhood, feeling lost and lonely, anxiety in my teens. And then I tried to seek like purpose and connection through drugs and alcohol in my early 20s, late teens. Then I became sober when I was 28. And the spiritual sort of awakening process was evolving throughout those years in the little tidbits of presence and energy that I received. When I got sober, awakening process was simple things like holding hands at a meeting and having a moment of feeling deeply connected and present to the people around me. Or early on, I would go to yoga class, and in yoga class, would have like literally a second of feeling at peace. That was, to me, a part of my awakening process. It was little bits of presence, connection, feeling of infinite love. And then it continued, and I've talked about this before. I started meditating about 20 years ago, and the minutes of meditation that I did, because I talk about this, I did a minute in the morning and a minute in the evening. That was enough for me to feel a glimpse of awakening, which again, I feel like it's like feeling connected, supported by an energy that is larger than myself. It's feeling love to myself. Whoa, that's a big one. Because feeling love for myself, that's like too much. It took me like 52 years to get there. But and then it continued with a very serious spiritual practice, meeting Sally Kempton, who became my meditation teacher. And a little story, just very quick one. But yesterday was Mother's Day here in America.
Same here.
Oh, cool! We have the same Mother's Day. Congratulations! Happy
Congratulations, beautiful mom.
I texted Sally and I said, "It's Mother's Day, and I am thinking about you because you were the one who taught me about love and how to feel nurtured. And you taught me that way through my practice of meditation, because through my practice of meditation, I feel loved and nurtured, right? So that meeting her, yeah, it's that's what I feel. That's what meditation is for me.
But so what Sally taught you was meditation.
Well, Sally is, that's her primary thing. She's a meditation teacher, a spiritual teacher. She's a tremendous scholar in Hindu text. Like she knows every single thing you can possibly imagine. And she's a direct disciple of Swami Durgananda. So she has his energy stored in her body. Like she's like an amazing, powerful energy transmitter, right? And I mean, I don't want to like, she opened up the door to understanding that the act of meditation is not in the end for me calming my mind. It is slowing down the thoughts enough to access my own soul and the great soul of the universe, which is all loving and all nurturing.
And that sounds in my ears that's your journey in the awakening process.
Yeah. Because I feel like ever since
I just want to, for people who are listening, I just want to, as you mentioned in the beginning of this podcast, awakening this is how it is for us, this is how it is for you. But awakening means to wake up in the present moment, right? To whatever,
that's what it means to you and me.
Yeah.
To be present, right? And feel infinite love and connected to all things, right?
But it doesn't, because when you describe it, it sounds like it's an ocean of peace, an ocean of ease. But awakening doesn't mean does it mean to always be in peace? Or does it mean that we can also have an awakening process of something that's being more painful or more
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what I'm saying is like, if we're talking about the journey of the awakening process for Pernilla, right? She was, as you know, the most instrumental part of my timeline, of Pernilla's timeline, right? And for yours, it was starting your Buddhist practice, where you started chanting every day. So I'm just saying, I met Sally 2006, and that's when meditation became really. And then I went through years when I didn't meditate at all, and I had children. I had a children with medical needs, and so it ebbed and flowed throughout these years. And I would say there's a lot of moments since I met Sally that were also like large. Like I had one moment when I was changing the diaper of my daughter Anna. She was newborn, and I was standing there, and while I was changing her diaper, I was thinking about a million things and nothing that had to do with her. And I remember I got like almost panicked about it, like, why am I not present with her right now? And it was like a primal moment where I was like, I don't want to be like this. I want to be with her, in her presence. Because she's just looking up at me going, and I'm like, what are we going to make for dinner? And my husband didn't do this, and my mom is this, and so that was another awakening moment in the process of awakening, where I was like, I want to be present, please. I want to be here right now. And
it sounds to me that when you describe that the awakening process is a way of bringing your inner wisdom to the surface.
yeah, I mean, I think that those words are like Buddhist language, which
Yeah.
I don't think about. Wisdom is not that would be like for me, step beyond, like the inner elements of awakening is not wisdom is something that comes out of the inner elements. Like, so like if you're saying, for example, like love, presence, connection, those things, which for me, I feel like, this is just me, right? I feel like they're like the core of presence, right? They're the core of the awakening process. And if you have all those, you're going to be wise, right?
Yeah, but even I'm just trying to understand awakening moment, which is personal, for each person, and but what it all has in common for anyone. And this is just I don't know, this is just what I'm bringing up about listening to you. But what it all for me seems to have to common is that we're becoming, I wanted to say, find another word of wisdom, but we become a little bit wiser on ourselves. We're becoming a little bit more aware,
of course,
of who I am, what I want, what I don't want, what is good for me, what's not good for me.
Exactly.
And in that, I would say that, call it the divinity, call it God,
I think we're actually, now that I'm listening to you talk, wisdom is the same thing as awareness, right? In the way that you're describing wisdom,
yes,
it's the same thing as awareness. It's just that this, like when you're, and I'm like, everything I know is mostly yogi, Hindu based. So if I were to look at like true Buddhist literature, wisdom will be the same thing, I feel like, as the awareness, just creating greater awareness on yourself. Like that is what the awakening process brings. Awareness and, classic mindfulness, right? Everybody really I feel like these days people understand mindfulness is something that we understand what that means. It's just taking a short beat, a pause, short pause in the moment and go, why am I doing this? And that's mindfulness creates greater awareness, right? So that's all wisdom.
But I would say that exactly, because when I do have my classes in mindfulness, I always introductions. I mean, first of all, it is it is a state. It's mindfulness, and it's really to awake. That's what you say. It's to be awake in the present moment, even if you don't like it, or if you like it, if it's comfortable or not comfortable.
Yeah.
And that's I think we all got a little bit, but we got the possibility to taste what awakening could be for ourselves. And this want me to lead into the tools and the elements that you have created that is part of your awakening journey.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that we have talked even about the awakening process. We talked also a little bit about the tools and the elements. But there is not an end talking about these. So I think that we could if we could get the wheel up and we could tap in and look how the tools and the element has helped you and served you in your process, knowing that you were the one creating this mandala, which I think it's very simple to use for anyone, depending religion or whatever. This is independently the Awakening 101.
Yeah, exactly.
So
we're going to put up the Awakening Mandala.
Yes.
So do you want me to describe how we came up with this thing, or do you want to?
Yes, I think it would be, because we have done some we have talked about some of the elements and some of the tools, also where we have gone quite deep and come with our personal stories and stuff like that. But I think to just, if you would like, you haven't brought us through the journey of how you came up with this and why you picked up these elements and these tools, and maybe also how they are resonating with each other.
Right. So again, I think I have mentioned it in the prior podcast, but the idea of the mandala was just an image that came. I know that this sounds so hokey, but it was an image that came into my head while we were creating the website. And I had written so much content, and we ended up with about 60 blogs that are all about the awakening process and the elements and the tools. So, and they're personal. So there's like all the blogs on the website are how I discovered, how I had a discovery phase with, for example, forgiveness. That is one of the elements. So while we were creating the website, I had an image in my head of a circle. You know, it's not so far-fetched because people make mandalas all the time, and it's, you know, and I had these words in my head like yoga, you know, grace, mantra, pranayama, presence, awareness, community, you know, like all these things that I had encountered throughout my own journey that had supported my process, right? So nature and animals, conscious living, love, I said forgiveness already. Now I don't know which ones I covered, and I categorize them in tools and into elements because love, okay, so let's say you are doing a lot of yoga and hiking, right? This is the simple way. It's just, this is just the 1 + 1 = 2. And it's not actually this simple, but I'm just going to give a simple example so people understand. If you do a lot of yoga and then you go hiking in the mountains, maybe, you're going to feel more present and more able to be loving because you're present, right? So that's how they work together. So the tools are, you know, the things that you can do in order to bring forth something like love or presence or more forgiveness, right?
Or connection.
So yeah, or connection, right? So the tools are the outer layer: yoga, nature and animals, conscious living, you know, study. So What is it? You read them, because I don't have it up.
But it's conscious living, it's devotion, it's meditation, it's self-reflection, it's community, yoga, breath, mantra, nature and animals, and study.
Yeah. So those are the actual action we can take, right? So when I
So
say
that's
devotion,
10, right? You have 10,
I actually have never counted them, so I don't know.
no, but I have a fixation with counting things. I think it's 10. I'm going to count them for that. So conscious living, devotion, meditation, self-reflection, community, yoga, breath, mantra, nature and animals, and study. It's wonderful. It's 10.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So those are all actions you can take to bring forth an element, right? So, and it's again, like we it's a process. It's not linear. And I say this on the Awakening Process page. It's not linear. They all sort of float together. It's not like, hey, I'm gonna go to yoga and then I'll be nicer to my husband. It's not like that. And it's not like a one-time deal either. I mean, it takes time. You know, you have to put in the work. But most of the people, I think, that would listen to a podcast like this, are already practicing something.
Mm.
You know, whether it is, I have a really good friend who, her name is Amy, and she works as a purser on a airline.
Yeah.
And she travels a lot. But she, you know, she has a really strong spiritual practice where she goes outside, she bikes a lot, she listens to a lot of like spiritual podcasts, she learns from listening a lot, and she loves to travel because she gets to see all these different cultures, right? And she goes to like India and Japan, and you know, so that's her actions that she takes to feel more connected. She doesn't do yoga, right? So everybody has their own way of tapping into these elements that we're talking about. So that's just an example.
But wait, because I think this is I think this is important because we all different way of reading things. So just to underline that we don't have to do all these tools to reach to the elements. It's, you know, we can pick one of them, we can, you know, some will connect. It's very organic. That's what you say.
Yeah. Yeah. And I believe, you know, it's like, you know, I think about this when we go to Sweden in the summer, and there's people that live in the little town that we live in, Dalarö. You know, they're the guy that drives the little ferry boat from one island to the other. And that's what he does. He's this guy, like, I'm just giving an example. He is completely present, driving his boat back and forth. He's in nature, and he's satisfied like that. I mean, that is to me an awakening process. Like when you don't feel like, when everything just feels okay the way it is.
And where you are at the moment.
Yeah, in this moment. So it's that's what I'm saying. And I think that we've said this so many times, but Awakening 101 and the process around it is about the simple, seeing that there's something there for you that is actually the simple way to access it. And I don't know if simple is a good word, actually, but I'm just making an example of the guy in a boat, or like the fisherman, you know.
But in the end of the day, I mean, we all, in one way or another, want to have ease in our body and peace in our mind, and also some tranquility in our heart. And when you describe the guy who's driving the ferry in Dalarö, and how he's being present, and how he's in that moment, probably in ease. Well, I think that I lost a little bit here, but that No, but you know what I mean. But it's sometimes, for me, it's important not to strive too much. You
Yeah, the
know,
striving.
it's you know, when you see, you know, that I really try to look at these mandala and see what's resonating today. Oh, it's a little reminder. It's a little support of how I would put my inner compass for the day. What do I want to have for intention? What do I have in focus? So that my spiritual or inner journey becomes a little bit
Yeah.
more fun.
Yeah, like a little bit of the mandala can be like a roadmap
Yeah.
as a reminder. So yeah, I mean, like it's the same thing as like when we talked about the yellow book, that, you know, Letting Go Pathway to Surrender
Yeah.
by David Hawkins. Like I for years just had it next to my bed.
Yeah.
So that when I saw it, I could remember to surrender. It's a little bit like that, maybe. Like you have the idea of the mandala, then you can be reminded.
But that's why I think it should be so nice to just print this and put it on the fridge. I mean, my kids would maybe not start to focus on forgiveness or surrender, but you know, hardly will be drawn by nature and animals. I really think it gives you an roadmap for, oh, what's today, what's not to like today.
Yeah, yeah, and everybody can identify with aspects of something. I mean, even my kids, they're totally, my oldest daughter's completely obsessed with sunrises and sunsets. That she loves it. That's what she wants to do. She wants to go watch the sunset. You know, and that's her little process there. You know, she feels connected to something greater than herself, right? As she watches sunsets. That's why she likes to do it. And maybe it's also something for parents to think about. Like, what is it? Well, my kids, where are they in that space?
Yeah,
Because
definitely.
they're innately more present than we are. It's like my younger child. Last summer we were so busy doing things, hanging out with friends, blah blah, and then we went to visit a friend who lives on an island outside Maine, and you have to take a small boat to get there. There's no cars, there's no stores. It's just a little island. And when we were there, it rained the entire time, and we just ended up sitting in their little library that was like a homemade library in a church, reading. And after we left, she says, that was my favorite day all summer.
Wow.
Because she could sit and read and just relax
And
and
connect.
not. Yeah, that's what was her favorite day all summer. So, you know.
I just got an idea, because what you described that with your youngest daughter, which is my godchild too. No, but that's when but if she was connecting to what she was reading, she was probably feeling very present in that moment.
Yeah.
And she was probably feeling love. So these are elements in the mandala. So I think that we could also even help our children or help our friends to put some words on what they're going through. You know, if you're having a dialogue, especially with your child, it could be interesting. Oh, what made you feel like this was the best day? Well, you know, it was calm.
Yeah. Yeah, it was very interesting, and it actually was like a light went off for me too. You know, because I think that last summer was a summer we came out of COVID a little bit, right? So everybody's, you know, a lot of us moms, like spent a lot of time trying to like make the kids feel better during this time. I came up with all kinds of crazy things to do. That was so hard on them too. So I was like baking and like driving to the beach and going like, you know, jumping in the ocean when it was like 40 degrees. I mean, I came up with all these things. So I was like, and like it was like a reaction to having a little bit of freedom again last summer. So we were just doing 1,000 things, the boat, and then it was like a light bulb went off when she said that that's still not what she wants. She's fine with like reading on the couch for a few hours and then cooking a nice meal together.
But I could
Which
join
is
you for
also
the next journey to that friend, because I think I would have the same
Yeah,
experience as
Squirrel
your youngest
Island.
daughter.
Yeah,
Yes.
Squirrel Island outside of Booth Bay, Maine. It was unbelievably beautiful. Yeah. So
I would love
awakening
it.
moment for a 12-year-old, really.
Yeah.
Knowing what she likes, which I feel like
And
I
also an
didn't
awakening
actually
moment for
know.
you because you were listening to what she said.
Yeah.
You
But
become,
just flipping it too, to saying, I had no idea. I mean, I guess the barn, being with horses, was my awakening moments as a child,
mm,
but I didn't know that then.
mm,
Like, I think that's what's so great, that she understood that this is what she likes, and this is what I like too,
mm.
because we're very similar. But the striving thing that you brought up, um, I think is very common for people, that they want to change what they're feeling, right?
Mm.
Because they don't want to feel the way they feel. So we look for something else all the time. And that's basically, if I use the word strive, that was my entire life, striving for something different, right?
So that's why we use drugs.
Yeah, that's definitely why you use drugs. And I think that happens in spirituality a lot. People are trying this thing and that thing and this thing and chasing this thing and this teacher and blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. And there's a part in one of my teacher, Abdi Asadi's book, I think it's called Shadows on the Path. And he talks about, he meets this older gentleman. I think he has a motorcycle bike shop. And Abdi, my friend at the time, was always running around trying to find the next solution. Very spiritual, but like chasing teachers and all this stuff. And in the book, he describes that this guy who runs the little bike shop, he's like, why are you always going somewhere? Whatever you need is right here, right now. And he was like, oh, what are you chasing? It's here right now. And it took me a long time to understand that, and I think it takes a long time for everybody to understand. Like, if we can just say that, whatever I need, I have it already.
Mm.
I just have to turn inside and be with myself, and have the breath or the meditation moment or the awareness to see that I don't have to go outside to fix myself. I can do it myself.
But that's what's
With
so difficult, and that we both knows, because when we got into recovery, both of us, I mean, turning the awareness inside, I mean, all
awful.
I wanted to do was to crawl out of my body,
Yeah.
and it took us X years in recovery to be able to stay in whatever emotions or however you feel, knowing that they're going to pass.
Takes
But
so long.
yeah.
I mean, I think that's an excellent point, actually, because what you're saying is that, yeah, so fine. You can say, today I can say, yeah, it's everything I need is inside, but it took me 25 years to get here.
Mm.
It's a very good point, because I literally was, I say this, it's like, it took me 10 years sober
Mm.
to be able to sit down for a second and feel. Because before then, I always was in a complete panic. Like, if I had any emotion, it was always hysteria.
Mm.
Like, it was like either a little manic or complete hysteria.
Mm.
So exactly. So what do we do then? When it's so, I mean, and again, we talked about this, but I think that there's other things that you can do then, like being outside, going to
Of
yoga is
course.
great for this, right? Because you can move.
But it's also, as we had mentioned, it is to be patient, because when I'm thinking back on, my early years of recovery, and where I am today, knowing that I'm not a sober, I mean, I'm still in recovery, but I'm not,
Actively
I
going
do
to
have,
meetings.
no, exactly. And I could have a glass once in a while, but but what I wanted to say is that when I look back on that, I mean, we do need to accept that everyone has their journey, and
Yeah.
that I couldn't be, but that's back to what you said, and back to what the bicycle man said, where it's right there, and then that can change in the process, and that must be your awakening process or my awakening process, because it's not an end. It's just that journey
It's a journey.
and I mean, if I would have getting all these things that we are sitting and talking about now with 1 month or 1 year in recovery, then I would pass out. It would be too much. Take me down from this.
Yeah. I mean, I think that like in the very beginning of this, like sort of like discovery of that love was the thing that I was like infinite love was the thing that I was missing. When I discovered that like at a retreat with Sally in the very beginning. And I mean, if I had been feeling like that all the time, I would have been like, oh, this is so weird and yucky. And I mean, because I was so used to feeling angry and irritated. That was my state. So like a little dose of love is fine, but not all the time. Please don't give me this shit. So you're right. It's like little seeds of something.
But I want to stop you there, because I get curious. What was it that you felt on that meeting with Sally? What was that love? Please.
I have talked about this before, but I will bring it up again because so this is 2006 when this happened. It was another awakening moment, right? So it was my first meditation retreat ever. So before then I had meditated like maybe a minute here and there, right? So we went to Joshua Tree. This is the story where I'm in Joshua Tree and I'm we've been there for a couple of days and we meditate, throughout the day, for not sitting completely silent for 7 hours. No, Sally goes in and out of conversation and she talks about Hindu teachings and stuff like that. So, and then she gives you a guided meditation about understanding things. And what happened was that I somehow, I was overwhelmed one day with just the feeling of love. Like I was just walking from one.
But how did it
house.
feel? How did it feel?
Oh, well, how does it feel to feel love? How does it feel to feel love? Well, I mean, for me, it feels like just maybe warm in my entire body, right? Like around the chest, around the heart chakra. Like I shouldn't talk about chakras. My husband would make fun of me. But
why?
Chakras. He thinks it's all, yeah.
Bollocks.
But for me, that's like, it's like the same thing as like brushing my teeth. The chakras, like what? They're here and we deal with them, But it was, I would say, if like the feeling is an opening of the heart. I know that sounds weird, but just like warm in the chest, elated, joyful, happy for absolutely no reason. I don't know why I felt like joyous, ecstatic, happy, love, and like energy through my whole body. That's what I felt. And
wonderful.
And it was the first time. And that's when I realized, I think subconsciously, that this is what meditation can do for you.
Because you felt that exactly for no reason, and you have not taken any ecstasy or any, I got it.
Yeah.
I think what
that
you
feeling,
described
ecstasy
there,
doesn't bring you to any of those feelings, like, because there's always an element of negative energy in all drugs.
not the first time when you gave me the ecstasy.
Yeah.
But of course.
No, it's not the same. For me, it wasn't. The feeling of like the actual expansive meditation love was the cleanest way I've ever felt. So, awakening moment, but one of the most profound ones that I had. Like,
because I think sometimes it can be difficult, or it could be interesting, like we did now when you describe what was your experience with love. And people can maybe relate to it, or people can associate with it, because that must also, of course, be different, but it seems very pure.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but I mean, I think about this sometimes now, and it's almost 7:20, so I'm driving my kids to school. But I meditate every day for about 45 to an hour. And I have been for years. I mean, it's just like part of my day. Like I eat lunch and I usually pick up my kids from school right after I do that. And at this point, after all this time, I'm kind of like a kid who's drunk when I pick them up, because I make stupid jokes and I'm laughing and I'm sort of, and that's, so I feel like what it does, it puts me in deep connection with my true self in the moment. And so I'm just Pernilla, who's like kind of silly and laughing, and my kids are like, "What's going on with you, mom?" Because I always pick them up right after, so I'm like really open and loving, and I make jokes, and and that was one of that's also, and I'm going to just take this quickly because we're sort of getting, but I had that experience in 2006 with Sally, and then we had 4 meditation retreats that year. And I went through series of like discoveries, which we'll bring up as the time goes by. But another really important moment in my meditation journey was that Sally had written a book. And now I can't remember the name, Awakening to Meditation. It's her first book. It's blue. And she wrote it when she was still a Swami Durgananda. I read it in 2007. We had been at a 10-day meditation teacher retreat in Carmel. And in there, she describes how you should do like a 21-day, 90-minute a day meditation practice to see. And she gave you instructions of how to like sort of guide yourself. So I came home to LA and I did it, right? And I literally I would make like a double espresso, because I always fell asleep when I was meditating, because I had like enormous knee pain at the time. So I would make a double espresso and then I would sit down and meditate. And it was, so I did it. I did the 90 minutes. And sometimes it was like an hour at one point of the day and then a half an hour later. But I did the 90 minutes for 21 days in 2007. And after that time, I remember I was like a drunk person, happy, funny, present, making jokes. Like I was just like in my body fully, like I was in my body. And I think that was a door opening, that I could do this on my own, and the impact that it has. So I think that was also like a groundbreaking moment for me, where I was like, okay, this is who I truly am, without filters and trying to worry about what somebody else is going to think when I say this one thing, or trying to think about like if I'm going to hurt somebody's feelings. This is who we are. Happy.
And you were not needy.
Needy?
No.
I don't need things. Everything I
not
need
any
is
longer.
inside.
But what?
No, exactly. At the time, I wasn't needy, but I've been needy for a long time until now. But
yeah, but I think a lot of people are needy.
Yeah, because they're trying to fill it. They want
and that's how we
to fill them.
become codependent of.
I mean, I was codependent and needy for 50 years.
And our mothers are still.
Right. So it's because you don't feel that love that comes from inside. So you're trying to get it for something else. And that's completely normal. That's everybody. That's the human condition. There's nothing wrong with that. We seek love.
No, we can learn from it, and we can deepen our understanding from that.
Yeah.
With ourselves.
Yeah. So did we stay on track at all?
We did. I mean, we're going to take that outside the podcast with some constructive feedback.
Yeah.
I learned. Let's do a little short recap. What will people take with them from listening to this podcast today?
Well, I think you go.
Okay. No, but we have discovered. We have listened to. I mean, we got an understanding of how an awakening process could look like, or be like, or be experienced at, knowing that it's all different for everyone. It's individual journey, and that's no ending. We got an understanding of how your journey of the awakening process and the awakening journey, and how you came up with the tools and the elements, and how this mandala can be an inspiration, a support, and a guidance, a roadmap that could maybe be nice to print out and just have on your fridge and see whatever is resonating, just by starting that, to become a little bit more aware of what's talking to me today and how can I cultivate that in my life. And we also talked about some of your teachers, and if people wants to read the books that you mentioned, they're also on your website, awakening101.com. So I think that we've been quite structured today. Yeah,
I think so too. I mean, and just at the end, I think if we're doing a recap, just understanding a bit of the journey of meditation, what it can mean. Yeah, but I think you're really good at recaps. That was amazing.
My whole life is a recap.
Oh, Louise.
Oh,
I
honey,
miss you. I'll see you soon.
We meet very soon. I can't wait, honey. I can't wait. But are we going to catch up later on, you and me? Are you going to call me when you have picked up the kids or left the kids?
Yeah, of course.
Wonderful.
Yeah, I'll call you in half an hour.
Yeah, and we want to say thank you to everybody who's listening today. We're very grateful for that. And please come with comments, or if there's any question, just feel free to write below. And happy to join us on this journey. Loves you.
Namaste, Winesky. I love you. Puss.
Puss.
Hey.